I met Rashid when I had nothing but an idea and a borrowed desk. We were both in our mid-20s, ambitious, impatient, and convinced the world owed us something if we worked hard enough. I had the technical skill. He had the confidence to walk into any room and make people listen. That combination felt rare, almost destined. When we decided to start a small logistics consultancy together, it felt less like a business decision and more like a handshake between brothers. For 3 years, we built the company from scratch. Long nights, cheap coffee, unpaid invoices, and constant rejection became routine. When one of us felt exhausted, the other pushed forward. Rashid used to say, "If we stay loyal to each other, success will have no choice but to follow." I believed him completely. Our first real breakthrough came when a multinational firm shortlisted us for a regional contract. It was the kind of deal that could change everything: steady revenue, credibility, and visibility. We spent weeks preparing proposals, refining presentations, and rehearsing answers. The night before the final pitch, we stayed in the office until dawn. Rashid looked at me and smiled. "Tomorrow," he said, "we stop surviving and start living." The pitch went perfectly. The executives asked tough questions, but we handled them well. When we walked out of the boardroom, Rashid clasped my shoulder and said, "We did it together." 2 weeks later, the confirmation email arrived. We had won the contract. Celebration followed calls to family, modest dinners, plans for expansion. I trusted Rashid with administrative matters, including client communication and banking, because he had always handled those confidently. I focused on operations, believing that dividing responsibilities was a sign of maturity, not risk. The first payment arrived a month later. Rashid told me the client had delayed partial payment due to internal processing. It sounded reasonable. A second month passed. He said the same thing, adding that cash flow issues were normal at this stage. I believed him again. The first crack appeared when a junior employee casually mentioned congratulating Rashid on his new company after seeing his interview online. Confused, I searched for it. There was an article announcing Rashid as the founder and CEO of a logistics consultancy. My consultancy, my systems, my clients, my work. My name was not mentioned once. When I confronted him, he laughed. "You're overthinking," he said. "It's just PR language. Investors like a single face." His calmness disarmed me. I wanted to believe him, so I did. The truth revealed itself brutally 2 weeks later. I went to the bank to resolve a supplier issue and learned that the company account had been closed. A new account had been opened under Rashid's sole ownership. Worse, the multinational contract had been transferred to a newly registered firm bearing a slightly different name. Legally, it was his. When I called him, he didn't deny it. His voice was steady, almost cold. "I took a risk starting this with you," he said. "But I carried the company forward. I deserve control." I reminded him of our agreement, our shared effort, our trust. He paused and replied, "Trust doesn't pay bills. Ownership does." That was the moment betrayal stopped being a concept and became a physical sensation. My hands shook, my chest felt tight. 3 years of work, sacrifice, and loyalty had been erased with paperwork and silence. The following months were the hardest of my life. I lost income, reputation, and confidence all at once. Some clients assumed I was the one who left. Others never returned my calls. Legal action was possible, but expensive and slow. Rashid knew that. Betrayal, I learned, often relies not just on greed, but on calculating the victim's limitations. What hurt most was not the loss of money or status. It was the realization that someone I trusted had studied my weaknesses closely enough to exploit them. He knew I avoided conflict. He knew I believed loyalty would be returned in kind. He used that knowledge precisely. Recovery was not dramatic. There was no public apology, no downfall on his side. Instead, it was quiet and slow. I rebuilt my work independently, smaller this time, more cautious. I learned to document everything, to question even friendly assurances, and to separate professionalism from emotional attachment. Years later, I heard Rashid's company collapsed after internal disputes and mismanagement. I felt no satisfaction. Betrayal does not end with revenge. It ends with clarity. I now understand that betrayal rarely comes from enemies. It comes from people who stand close enough to know your dreams, your habits, and your blind spots. And while trust is necessary to build anything meaningful, blind trust is an invitation to be erased. The lesson cost me everything I had built, but it gave me something far more durable: the ability to trust again, carefully, with open eyes.